Soldier of the Legion, based on the novel by Marshall S. Thomas. Chapter 2, Year 0.
As we approached Adam's Road on the spawn, I found a small viewport. Adam hung silently in space, a blinding silver dart that reflected all our hopes and dreams. As we drew closer, Adam's immense size became clear. 2 other cruisers were already affixed to their docking blisters, and they looked almost like toys in comparison to Adam. Dead man, she was lovely. Crafted by the gods, I knew she was also the ultimate killing machine, capable of knocking a planet out of orbit. We all knew her mission and her stats, but I best remembered that last line of the official description. The CS Adams Road represents the unified power and resolve of the citizens of the Confederation of Free Worlds. She was ours, and she was a mighty weapon.
Stand by for vac run red.
A star jump. The announcement found me in my tiny cube on Adam, trying to activate the wall desk. I knew that all elements of the 12th had arrived. All 4 cruisers were secure and power was building to open the artificial wormhole. Adam would hold open the dimensional vortex all the way to our destination, where it would slam shut behind us with a light show that would announce to everyone in the sector that we'd arrived. At first, I assumed I would be sharing my cube in shifts, but Priestess had burst in, almost giddy with the news that they were our own cubes. We weren't used to such luxury. Without fanfare or further warning, it came. With a great shudder and a high-pitched whine, Adam poked a hole in the universe and hurled us through it. Into nothing. Nothing to see because nothing was there. We all felt it, though. There was a kind of pressure that closed in on you and seemed to reduce your field of vision a bit. I asked one of the techs if the dimension we were traveling through had existed before, or if we had created it, and why was it that there was nothing in it but us? He looked at me with pity and just shook his head. I resigned myself to my fate. I was a great believer in fate. The void between the stars is like the hand of death. I was a spark hurtling into the dark, my past forever gone. A bitter cold numbed my bones. My soul froze, I think, but not from the cold. I knew we were never coming back. I thought a lot. I had plenty of time to think, lying in my bunk, staring at the overhead. I'm not sure anymore whether or not thinking's good for you. As best as I can recall, every time I've gotten in trouble, it was preceded by heavy bouts of thinking. I've got to give it up one of these days, but not between the stars. Adam's open mess was full of Legion troopers in Camfax fatigues and black-suited Fleet Command personnel. Fleet Comm vac heads, we called them. It wasn't lunchtime, but every table was taken, and there was an awful racket. I spotted Hound sitting alone, writing something with a light pen on a Starlink data screen. As I approached, he shifted a hand to conceal the screen. I pulled out a chair. "What are you doing, Hound?"
I was just writing my mom.
He lowered his eyes. Hound was a good kid with sandy hair cut close to his scalp. Sunken, pale blue eyes dominated a rugged, crudely cast face. Writing his mom. Dead man. Many of the younger troopers had only known a mother's love, never a lover. We're innocents, in the service of a savage god. "How's the headache?"
Better, thanks.
He seemed to suffer more from the effects of our wormhole transit than most. Priestess had given him medication for the pain. Star drive sure didn't help. The pressure made it hard to take even without a headache. Hound resumed writing his letter, forming the words carefully. I called up a docs from the table menu and popped the cap. Breaking the seal heated the dark liquid instantly, and the rich, sweet aroma flowed over us. Hot docs. Undoubtedly better than sex. Hound may have been an innocent, but I knew that, if need be, he would die for us, without hesitation. He was as loyal as a dog. Hound was not the brightest star in the heavens, but he was one of us now. He knew, after Planet Hell, that we'd die for him too. As I sipped my docs, my mind drifted. This trip wasn't a pleasure cruise. If Outback Sector Command wanted to retask Adam's entire group to the far side of the Outback, there must be more at stake than they'd told us. A couple of vac heads at the next table chatted about how unprecedented this deployment was, and I listened carefully. According to them, Moving Adam would leave a huge gap that would have to be filled with forces drawn from elsewhere, and moving those forces would require further adjustment. Command was spooked about something, and very little spooked the Legion.
Hi, guys.
Iron Man joined us, setting down a tray with ice water and a power bar. Iron Man was Beta's youngest soul, just out of mid-school and still growing. He faced the future with hope and faith. Long brown hair hung over one eye as he stirred his ice water with a straw. Strikingly handsome and superbly fit, Iron Man was a lifter, proud of his growing physique. I happened to know that he came from a Legion world, a privileged world. What a fool. He was underage. Why had his parents consented? Bright, dynamic, handsome, strong. He had it all. His whole life ahead of him. Everybody liked Iron Man. What in the name of dead man's death was he doing here? The Legion wasn't for innocents like Iron Man. The Legion wanted dreamers, the drifters, the doomed and the lost.
Is everything Tenner's thinker? Something wrong?
Iron Man smiled tentatively, revealing even white teeth. No, it's nothing, Iron Man. I felt very protective of him, though I'm not sure why. Every night I prayed to Deadman for his soul. But then again, I prayed for everyone in Beta. I found our pilot, Red Hawk, in Spawn's aircar bay with his lover. A long line of fearsome black birds filled the bay, gleaming with slick, silent and deadly. My blood stirred just looking at those lovely ladies. I located our own car by the tail number 24B. Coiled like a snake ready to strike, I ran my fingers over her wet, icy cold skin. I loved air cars. They could hover like bees, or hurtle through the sky like a fighter. Fully armored and heavily armed, the assault aircar was a true battlefield superiority weapon. Aircars were equipped to insert a squad into the target area as well as provide tactical air cover and retrieval.
Don't touch my girl.
Red Hawk stepped out of the shadows. Tangled red hair fell to his shoulders. His pale, splotchy face was splattered with slick. His sparse mustache and scraggly beard looked even rattier than usual. Clad in filthy, sleeveless coveralls, he clutched an angular tool I couldn't identify. "How's she doing, Red Hawk?" I gave him a big grin. I couldn't help it. I really liked the guy.
She's hot and wet, no foreplay required. Give us the word, we lift.
He looked up at the car with fierce adoration, scratching his chin absently. Red Hawk was a free spirit. He could work on the air car for days without sleep or sustenance. At other times, he would collapse in a stupor, seemingly developing laziness as a serious art form. Once in the cockpit, however, his genius came to light.
Come on in, thinker.
Red Hawk stepped up through the open assault door into the air car. I joined him, settling back into one of the crash seats. Laughing, he produced 2 icy cans of dark bitter from a refrigerated equipment rack and tossed one to me. I popped the cap and let the freezing lager sluice down my throat. Bitter was illegal in the aircar bay, but Red Hawk had never been bound by the rules. I had to stop thinking about my fate, about Command's fears and my own. Lost, hopeless, and undoubtedly insane, I had been drawn to the Legion as if sleepwalking. It seemed as though the twin angels of love and death haunted me day and night. In my dreams of home, Tara beckoned to me, a symbol of my lost life. She'd laugh at me and say I was too soft. I wanted only to forget her, but I couldn't. Death, my other angel, stalked my dreams as well.
Getting scared?
He draped himself over his seat lazily, his coverall zip half open, exposing a sweaty, hairy chest. I get braver with every sip of this stuff.
I ran into Valkyrie in supply. She asked about you.
Yeah? What did you say?
I told her you had some serious second thoughts about the relationship, and I reminded her that I was available and damn good in bed. She told me to... well, never mind what she told me. It wasn't very ladylike. So I guess she's still stuck on you.
Visions of Valkyrie, Gamma 2, came to me faintly. What kind of dark magic, what kind of evil alchemy could find love in the Legion? Visions of silky golden hair and a great hush. We'd slept out under the stars, on Hell. I'd been Gamma 4 then. It was before I was transferred to Beta Squad. Once, We'd camped by a cold black ocean with luminous silver waves and a beach of silver sand, with death waiting in the night. I blessed the gods when she first came to me, but it got to be lonely after a while. She was always there, but her thoughts were far away. For all I knew, she could have been a biogen, but I knew she wasn't. I could understand biogens.
Thinker, you still with us?
Red Hawk slouched in his seat, finishing off his bitter.
Man, you've got it bad.
Yeah, I guess so. Here, even hell seemed like a distant past, a previous life.